Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. And today I have a really wonderful one who I met at a Sister Survivor retreat that Break the Silence does. And her name is Kathy McKnight. And she's with an organization. She has this organization called Bound for Better. So, welcome, Kathy. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, for the great work that you guys do, and for the partnership that I have with you. So let me start telling you how I started Bound for Better.
Okay.
Okay, unbeknownst to me, I was going through a magazine years ago, years prior to, and I saw this picture of this young lady jumping a cliff, and it had Bound for Better. I liked it. It was like, oh, that's awesome. So I kept the picture. And so years gone by, I've been in law enforcement for about 15, 20 years. And then I got the caseload after I left the sheriff office. I knew then I wanted to start a program because of the domestic violence calls that we would get in and protective orders trying to get served for people. So I saw the work being so tedious, and then the repetitive, you going to the same unit at the same all the time, and it was tiresome. But we have to go serve those papers. So I'm like, okay, something has to be done because the judge is not considering trying to figure out why he or she should grant a protective order to this person. So, and then I moved on to parole and probation when I got the caseload of domestic violence in general. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what is God telling me here as far as, okay, me wanting to start this because I kept putting it off and put it off. And as I was going to school. So I went through my issue, my situation, trying to befriend someone, and he wanted more out of the situation. He wanted more out of just a friendship. He wanted a relationship. His car broke down, and he wanted me to, wanted constantly keep using my car. So I let him use it once. Again, we were just friends. I let him use it one time just to go take care of his business. When I kept saying, no, you can't use my car, that was just a favor. Then I'm starting to see red flags. I'm thinking, okay, so this person really think that we are in a relationship. How do I get out of this and get away from this person? He kept coming around and coming around, coming around. He would hit me in the back of my head, places where the bruises was not visible, which he knew that, and he would state that I'm gonna hit you somewhere. Well, there's no bruises. So,
Right.
yeah. So protective orders were taken out. He will violate the protective order. It was a tough 2 years, Tara. So, year and a half, and he tried to. He tried to poison my food a couple of times. So, and he made the mistake of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he made the mistake of saying that don't eat that. I just put something in there. I'm looking like, okay, so I'm glad he had a little sense enough to tell me that he put something in the food, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So again, ignoring the red flags, trying to get out of the situation, he kept throwing out to me, I know where your kids are, I know where your grandkids go to school. I'm like, oh Lord, how did I get myself in a situation like this trying to help people, a person? So he
Mhm.
him off. I said, it's time for you to go. I'll take you home. Charles County is where he lived at the time. And he said, the house is back there. He just kept saying back there, go back there. Mind you, it's a cornfield. I'm steady trying to drive through. I don't see a house. I don't see a house. Something say, you better not go back there. So at that point, I
Right.
real fast, and I hit the brakes. I stopped. When I turned around, it was a church right there. I didn't see that church at first. So I'm like, you have to get out of my car. So he got out. He tried to push me out of my car. So
Mm.
the the last time that what made me want to get this bounce for better started, after he did that, I came home and I just started, isolating myself. I didn't tell family because, as you know, domestic violence is like family don't want to be involved with it, which is a crazy,
Mhm.
something sad. But that's what made me want to start this Bound for Better. The last incident, he tried to push me down my stairs, throw me down my stairs, actually. and he straddled me. I have a spare, in my spare bedroom is he straddled me across the bed. I'm like, I just needed you. Were just supposed to come over here to pick something up that you left over here, not come and chase me up my stairs and get me in my spare bedroom and start choking me. So I'm trying to wiggle my way out of it. And, I'm not dying today. I'm not going to die today. That was in my mind, so he's not going to.
Right.
And then I stood up and he tried to throw me down the stairs. And I fell to my knees and I just started praying. And he was like, if God gave a F about you, he wouldn't allow this to happen to you. So something
Mm.
within me just welled up and I pushed him. I said, it's time to go. And that was in 2014. I haven't seen him since, but there's still a protective order. I mean, still a warrant for assault against him on him still out here. But that's why I started Bound for Better, because I saw the limited resources or the limited amount of people that wanted to help people in domestic violence situation. Now I know here in the state of Maryland, we only have one safe house per se, which houses like
Right.
28 women. And, it's scarce. So what we do, we put them up in the hotel. The limited amount is 3 days. If they need longer, then we can do that. I've just partnered up with a friend of mine with where we have an adopted bedroom. And within this bedroom, it will allow them to stay 6 months or longer if they need to get acclimated.
Mhm.
I was try to get back on track here, find a job, learn how to pay the bills. Just basically someplace to stay safe, for them and the kids. So, we do outreaches. We try to, partner up with people, because more are better, more than one working together
Right.
better, so we have learned that. But it's kind of hard to find that when you try to reach out to some other people and they ready for they good and gung-ho for the situation, the way of it sound, but at the same time, and they're like, later on when they're ready to connect, then they don't want to, they start backing off. So, um in the very beginning, it was kind of hard. I've almost been in like 10 years now, but it was kind of hard in the very beginning, because of the partnerships, the crabs in the bucket people mentality. I'm not sharing my resources with you to help you get going or anything like that, or let me
Yeah.
do with some stuff, so it kind of like frustrated me, so now it's like, hey, I'm full force in this now. Anything I can help anybody out with, my team is awesome. um, we do clothes outreach, Thanksgiving baskets, toy drives, back to school events. So yeah, because I know that I was in that situation and I see, like I said, the limited resources of how people don't want to help you. I want to be that person or that organization that can.
Mhm. No, absolutely. You're a very busy woman, so, I tell you what. So, so in your story, you were talking about so you really did you not technically you weren't dating this man who
No,
did this or eventually
right. And
yeah,
that's the part. I'm like, I just tried to help you. Your car broke down, and I'm trying to help you. No, he didn't. No, I'm not having that. If I can't have you, I'm like, you don't have me. If I can't have you, someone else, no one else can have you. So, and he kept coming around, and you can't tell me no. It's my car. Why can't I tell you? I'm like, what did I get myself into trying to help this person? I'm like, please
uh-huh,
just leave me alone. It was crazy, as we all know. But no, and it's like I was skeptical ever since my husband passed. I've just been skeptical about any man now. I don't trust them, but I'm very aware now, very much aware. Yeah.
mhm. Oh, I can imagine having trust issues because that's it's one thing to be in a relationship, but you're not even in a relationship and this man is acting like you are in one. But how many times, and I know you've probably seen it through the years as well, that a lot of women have a similar story and then they do end up in a relationship with this person because they're kind of forced into it and then they're really like stuck because they have created this relationship thinking that this is what was necessary,
Mhm.
because basically this person told them they were in this relationship, so they doubt themselves and they think, well, gosh, I guess I must be in a relationship,
Right.
kind of thing.
So that person will try to just put in our mind nobody else would want us or anything like that. No one else would want us. And then try to hold a whole lot of things against us, against women
Hmm.
to make them stay. Like no one else will want you, you're not good enough or anything. So they would, okay, well, maybe he's right. Maybe this is the one. No, we have to know this is why we're here to educate on the difference between that, knowing, how to be loved and what to look for, the red flags, we have to understand that, only until
Hmm.
we've that situation or had, a family member or loved one that's gone through it.
Right. And on top of that too, like, you were seasoned. I mean, you were actually doing some work. You had seen through the job you were doing
Mhm.
actually domestic violence, situations and calls and things like that. So, it wasn't like you didn't have a clue and still this ended up happening. So it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter where you are in life or what you're doing, this can happen to you.
Exactly.
So,
Because of
mm,
a childhood friend that I went to school with, she said, I never thought that would happen to you because you were always one to speak your mind. And that made me feel some type of way. I'm like, yeah, she's right.
mhm,
Did that happen? Why did I allow that to happen? I've never would allow that to happen. But until you've been in that situation, then we can understand why people stay in that situation. And may be trying with it 7 to 12 times before they decide to, but we
mhm.
understand, and I've never thought to this day, I still never thought that I would have experienced anything like that.
Right. So part of your healing journey has been advocacy. So tell me about that. How, like, I mean, you touched on it some about you starting into advocacy and you're bound for better and everything, but like, how hard, I heard some of the difficulties about trying to connect with other people. How hard was that in the beginning to get started and start, um, putting a message out there that there is something bound for better?
Right. It was very hard in the beginning because I didn't know where to reach out. A friend of mine, she is a judge, so she introduced me to go to the Family Justice Center in Montgomery County. So that's when I went there, and that's a one-stop shop where I was able to see everything, sit down with the director there, and he was able to explain to me what they offer. Social services in the building, law enforcement, pro bono lawyers, everyone, health department was in that one stop shop. So making that
Mhm.
that's what made me start venturing out and more with people on this side of down here in Prince George's County. So it made it a little easier because I knew how to sit down and talk. And then we do court accompaniment. So when we do, I'm with Maryland Network Against Domestic Violence, and with that,
Mhm.
we do offer that we get the list of names so the people that has to go to court on a Tuesday and get a protective order, and we'll sit in court with them just to be that warm body, just to let her know it's okay. So it's the connections that I've learned to make over the years, and just to speak up. This is what we do. We're out here, and my team, they're awesome. They are always putting the word out there, the cards, the postcards, whatever we have. And then I kept the connection also with Prince George's County, the sheriff office. When I left, I kept that connection. When you guys go out on calls or anything like that, I'm still here. So, with that, and just reaching out to people. But it was very difficult in the beginning because I will reach out to someone. Okay, I got you. I'll help you out. Time comes, I could never find the person. None of that. They didn't care about it. Long as they got doing what they're doing, it's okay. It just made me work a little harder because of the situation that I was in, and I was frustrated. So I
Mhm.
to do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is frustrating because a lot of times you think this is so prevalent that everybody knows somebody in their family, their friends, or something. You think, oh, they've got to be, they'll jump on this bandwagon with you, but um, people are caring. I won't say that they're not caring, they care about it. But sometimes it's hard to get them to feel the connection of like, this is really an epidemic.
Hmm.
This is worse than COVID. This is worse than, this is on the same level of, the people who suffer from the trauma of this as, veterans who've been in war, and people don't understand. It's trying to get them to connect to that kind of level in what we do and how what we're trying to get out there and make them recognize that this is affects all our families
Hmm.
and nobody goes untouched by it. At
That's
some
right.
point, you're going to get touched,
Right.
So,
Enough domestic violence out here for everyone. You know, it's never ending. It's never ending. It's just silent. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because of fear of not of being judged or not getting the support that they're looking for. So yeah,
mhm,
it needs to be done. It is. And we all should work together in trying to combat it. Yep.
right. No, absolutely. I agree. So, some of the good things you do, I heard you talking about was you provide like hotels and things like that. So what happened, I'm sure you saw a need, because I know a lot of times shelters don't take in sometimes people in certain situations with domestic violence. So what kind of got you started going in that direction?
Because I know that it can just be like a limited temporary thing. So something just clicked with me one day. I'm gonna try that hotel over there. And I just went and spoke with the director. Yeah, she worked out a contract with me, and there's a code. So I don't have to be there once the young lady comes in. I can just myself or a team member can go and let her in. And the staff there they'll look out for her. She gets a voucher, her and the child or children, so they can eat something, get something to eat. And if there's any issues, they will call me.
Hmm.
For had an issue with someone with one night. First night I put her in, she called the abuser. So the hotel called me and said there's a guy at the front desk here asking for her key. I said, please don't give him the key. So I went there and I told her she had to leave. So there are stipulations and policy rules and stuff that they have to go by. But some of them just find it a little difficult. But this is where the counseling piece come in
Right.
and talk. So we do that. And it-
Yeah.
okay.
So you were talking about how you had put someone up in the hotel and they had called her abuser, and then you were talking about it's important to have counseling for these reasons. So tell us more about that, what you were talking about there.
Okay, thanks. So yes, and she got upset because she thought it was a conspiracy against her. I'm like, that's not a conspiracy. They're trying to be safe. You're not the only one in this hotel, and it's actually messing up my connection. So I had to put her out, but she didn't stick around long enough to get the counseling piece of it. And the counseling piece is a 10-week trauma session where we go into any type of trauma that they may have endured, as far as PTSD. Any type of abuse, whether it's sexual, physical, anything, how to do self-care for themselves and how to take care of child or children, how to be a better parent, financial literacy, resume writing. So yeah, we do a lot to help them move forward. That connection with the hotel, it helps out, especially if I'm out of town. I can just pick up the phone and call the hotel. Hey, I got somebody. And I just give them the account number and all that information. So I try to keep that connection open. And she moved actually from one hotel to another one just about a year ago and called me. So I like to keep the connection and reached out and said, well, I'm moving somewhere else, Kathy. So come on over here to this hotel with me. So, it does help out. That is only 3 days, again, depending on the situation. Because I have run into some family members where they say, well, she can't come stay with me until Friday. Here it is Monday. So, okay, I'll put her up in the hotel all the way up until Friday.
Right. And do do you find that, there there is a whole lot of help to get them out of the temporary and somewhere else, usually friends or family? Is it easier that way, or shelters, are they helping you take up the slack with this, or what do
Times.
you think is happening there?
I haven't. Well, okay. Say for instance, I'm partnered up with the hospital as well. Domestic violence.
Okay.
So she'll call me every so often, Kathy. I have a client. I need to put her up. I say, okay. So tell me a little about her, and then I can do an assessment on her myself. What is Plan B? Because this is not the housing is not long term. So what is Plan B?
Mhm,
A lot of them will try to run into the situation where they just think, okay, once I'm in here, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to think about where I'm going next. So I try to get that information from the person once they do a warm handoff to me. Where's she going after this? Did she talk to you about
mhm,
anything? And so we can be on the same track. So that's what I usually work towards with that, because it has the last one of them previously put me in a situation where, come to find out, she was already in the hotel, but she wasn't telling me the full story from the hospital, and she was being human trafficked. So it was
mm,
a mix up with everything. So I try to make sure I get with them once they pass them to me. Where's she going? How long does she need? Is
mhm.
there able to help her out, or maybe a situation where she signed the lease and she's not due to move in for the next 30 days. Again, that's what the bedroom will come into effect to help her out with that. Yeah.
Wow. That
Mhm.
sounds incredible. I hope a whole
Thank-
lot of people, hear this and model this in their local areas, because this would be so fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the hotel is
Absolutely.
short stay, but again, she's able to get away and get that peace, at least for the night, and regroup in the morning.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, as we're wrapping up here, is there anything that you would like to tell, someone who is in this kind of situation, looking back at what you experienced and what you do now? What would you say to someone who thinks they are in an abusive relationship?
I would say know the red flags. There's a honeymoon phase. There are situations where, yes, he will abuse you. And then we come to the honeymoon phase where there's flowers. Honey, I'll never do it again. I'm sorry. I'm apologetic. He's very apologetic. And then it starts again. So that's a cycle. So you should already know right there, start having a safety plan, preparing for a safety plan, start getting the documentations, whether your children are in school, medical records, anything that you may need, passport, IDs, anything that you may need, and have it in a safe place till it's time to go. But don't stay in a situation just because the person is telling you you're not worthy enough to leave, or no one else wants you. There is help out here. You have to understand that. First and foremost, you have to understand that you have to get out of the situation. God forbid, before it's too late, get out of the situation. And there are people out here that are willing to help, like break the silence against domestic violence, and myself and others. So it's resources are out here, and we're just waiting. We won't turn you down.
Amen. That's right. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
We're so appreciative that you are here with us, and um, we'll be sure to put links down in the description for Bound for Better, and so you can check out that. And we just appreciate y'all coming in and for this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Tara. And have a good evening, beautiful. Appreciate you guys.